What is the future of home ownership? In this video, I'm going to explain why it's the corporations that will have the ownership and you, well, you're the serf class. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. In today's video, I'm going to show you the harsh reality of what's happening right here today. And then at the very end, I'll explain it all, tie it all in together. We're going to look at commercial real estate. We're also going to look at residential real estate. You got to understand that there's a lot of differences between those two, but I'm going to tie it all in at the end. You'll see, can America's middle class still afford home ownership in 2024? The long story short here is that more and more and more, in fact, the answer is no. All right. There's no two ways about it. Housing affordability has worsened significantly since 2020. In 2019, middle-class households could comfortably buy a typical home in 91 of the top 100 largest metros. By 2024, that figure had fallen to just 52. Families in the lower middle class can only afford to buy an average home in 7 of the top 100 metros. That is a shocking statistic. Whenever you look at that, you go to half of the places, it's unaffordable to you. Half of the places. Do you see what's happening here? In a matter of a few years, you've been crushed. You've been crushed by inflation. This is the number of affordable metros by income tier. This is one chart, and I'll show you the other. Okay, you could see it looking at this. It breaks it down further if you want to see that, and then you can see the chart. Of course, California area, your Honolulu, all those that you expect on there. But things have changed so much, okay? And this is a map, if you want to see it in a map version. It just shows us that more and more and more, especially of the desirable, a lot of the areas are desirable and they've become unaffordable. That is not a good thing. So I'm just trying to show you in different ways, but let's get into more data. Renting is now cheaper than owning in all of America's 50 biggest metro areas. So this is elevated mortgage rates and rising prices make home buying more expensive than renting in the top 50 metropolitan areas. This is not a good sign, all right? Because those prices have gone berserk. And now the problem here as well is if you have a landlord, small mom and pop landlord, they are in a burden state as well because their borrowing costs might be higher. And now they are going to be in trouble. You might say, yeah, well, screw them. Well, there's a problem. There's a very big problem with that. And I'll explain why in a few minutes. Please stick with me on that subject. If you think, screw the landlord, I'll explain why you should not want that. Are there bad landlords? Oh, absolutely. But I'll tell you why. You got to be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm saying. What record office vacancies mean for New York City's economy. What do you think? I'm going to show you right here. What risks does the office market pose for the city's finances? Check this out. A lot of the taxes, 21% in this case for New York, when we're talking about the property taxes. Well, if you don't have renters, you don't have tenants, you don't have people paying the bills, you have basically these companies operating these towers, they're not, or it doesn't necessarily have to be a towers, but commercial real estate in general. Well, if they're not paying their bills, well, you're not going to get the tax from that. Do you see this? 21%. It's broken down class A, B, other, and trophy, making up 21%. This is a concern for obvious reasons, because these governments rely on those property taxes. Okay? And now they're not going to get that, or they're going to have less of it. It's going to be a heavier, what do? We increase it. So now everybody's got to pay more. How does that sound? Do you see the problem here? Commercial real estate is a very big issue. LA's luxury house sales plummet 70% in the first year since its hated mansion tax was brought in, as millionaires chose to live outside the city in Beverly Hills, Malibu, and Santa Monica instead. Hey, you don't want us to live over here? All right, we'll just buy over there, or we'll just move out of the state, or we'll do this. There's a problem, of course, because you're kind of pushed into all these other areas, just like people in 2020 were saying, hey, I'll just go into these small towns. These small towns couldn't really take all this new population. They couldn't handle the sudden price increases, and there was much less availability and inventory. It caused a lot of problems. The same thing is also happening to people just saying, I don't like what's going on here, I'm going to move out. Well, now you're getting a lot of people moving in and around these different cities. There's internal migration that's happening, which is causing some issues. And I think not a lot of people are too happy about it if they've been there in that place for a long time. Toronto housing is now more expensive than New York. Let me explain to you again. Toronto's housing is now more expensive than New York. That is a powerful, powerful line. So you have to understand that you have to mirror this and look at it properly, because you might say, well, in dollar terms, it's, no, we have to compare what the average household makes in both places and then look at the average price of the homes, or median, right? Median. And you get a very different number. And Toronto has become one of the most overpriced places in the world while you have declining living standards. That's what we're experiencing right here. Compare that to your city and see how it has performed over these last 4 years. Is it better or is it worse? Some places, there's been a few places that you could say that, yeah, it's better. Actually, there's been new services, there's been these new roads have been built. It's been, maybe it's not cheaper than it was before, but we have all these new things. There are other places, though, that are actually the bridges are not getting done, and that's not getting done well, and also it's a lot more expensive. That's a bad trend. That's what's going on in Toronto. If you look at some other places like Dubai or something, they're more expensive, no question about it, but they have more stuff. More stuff is being built. Abu Dhabi, same thing. So UAE, you could argue, is in a better circumstance if you have the money. Half of downtown Pittsburgh office space could be empty in 4 years. So the same scenario here. That's Pittsburgh. But extrapolate that to all these different cities. If those office towers are empty or half empty or whatever you want to, say for those different areas, you've got a big concern. All right. You will have to pay that bill. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not some bank. You have to pay that bill. German home prices tumble record 8% in 2023 amid property rout. I'm just trying to show you that there's stuff is going on all over the world in real estate. Toronto's office vacancies jump to 13%. Some landlords are now dangling free rent. You see what's going on here? We need to pull people in. We need more businesses. We need more tenants. We are in trouble. And if they don't pay up, you have a cascading effect. Now that's commercial side, but residential also very important. And this is why. Blackstone just added another 38,000 homes as it buys fellow institutional landlord Tricon. These are the impacted housing markets. If you want, you can check it out. Links are in the description below. What am I trying to warn about? If you understand the scenario here, it's very simple. As you have the mom and pops that retire because, they're just done with it. I can't manage those homes. I'm out of here. Those mom and pops sell those properties. Who is going to buy up these properties? In a lot of cases, it's these companies like Blackstone that have an unlimited budget that can spend billions and billions of dollars. And what will they do to rents? They're going to jack them up. They're going to try and fix up what they can, do a value add. They're going to jack up those rents. And do they care about you, the tenant? You go through some hardship. Are you going to be able to reason with them? No, of course not. You're going to be given an email address, a general inbox. You're going to be communicating through that general inbox. You've got nobody to call to say, hey, can you please help me out? I'm really struggling. This bad thing happened to me. Can you just give me an extra few days, whatever this? You're not going to get any of that. The mom and pop, if they're a good landlord, is very good. It's somebody that you can work with. The corporate side, no, it's cold. It's like steel. And we will see more and more of this. There's no question about it. It doesn't matter if prices are too high. It doesn't matter if there's a problem, if there's a recession, if there's an economic issue. They might buy less. There might be a problem for them for a period, but they'll scoop up more and more and more and more. We become the surf class. This is what's going on. This is why I tell people, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. Do you agree with me? If so, put that in the comments. If not, let me know, right? With a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You decide. I want to know what you're thinking. These are the type of things, like I tell people on my Sunday Business Live, how we've got to be able to be mobile. We can't do this anymore, that we're stuck in one place and restricted to one location. We might stay in one place, but being able to simply get up and go, and your finances can go with you, now that's a beautiful thing. All right, that's what we talk about on the Sunday Business Live. I hope to see you there. If again, if you can't make it to these sessions live, you still get the recordings. So I would love it for you to be there live, because it's interactive. It's a Zoom session. But if you can't, you get the recording. Some people just watch the recordings. They're in different time zones or whatever. So that's all good if that's all you can do. But don't miss out on some extremely important information, okay? I don't sugarcoat stuff, as you know, and I don't get into the nonsense that some of the others out there do. I just like to keep it to the truth. That's all. If you appreciate this information, hit that thumbs up. If you disagree with me, hit that thumbs down. But as always, I'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.